Beautiful, divine masculine and feminine darlings. This is the Seraphim Gem Gypsy. SeraFae Indigo Empress and Shiloh Horizon. I don't plan to be here for too long. I don't know how long this will take. But while I was getting some work done today, I picked up a download and I checked Archangel Uriel working with Sagg on the Socratic method of teaching. And they said, look up December 6th, 2000, Sagittarius, in the Destiny Path reference 122 on the timer, and again 7:22 on the clock here on the East Coast. And so I did. So we'll be going through that, as well as some behavioral science and psychology references. Looks like we need a charger though. So first and foremost, I think I actually need that light on for a moment to read. This is again of the birthday, the birth path of December 6th, 2000. This is in regards to the last bout of plagiarism that was more thoroughly broken down. 333. And so when I listened to the archangels this morning about this particular reference, and I fact-checked what they were saying in the book, the whole issue with the crazy plagiarism makes a lot more sense in retrospect. So let's go through that. So here, just to show you, I don't know if that'll register. The way of originality, 422. So for somebody whose destiny path is supposed to be the way of originality to be plagiarizing from someone else, that means they are not following any kind of destiny path. That means they're in toxic, low vibrational karmic land. As career-oriented and ambitious as they are, those on this karmic path must overcome their fear of being different from others in order to pursue their individuality. So you see, that's a fail, because plagiarizing and copying someone else, that's the opposite of that. They enjoy power and prestige, so wanting to be looked up to and paid attention to, right? Seen highly of, thought of as prestigious, thought highly of, sought highly after. They enjoy power and prestige and are often very concerned with status. Often those on this karmic path subscribe to the notion that the end justifies the means. So this person felt like the best thing for them to do was to copy me to get some kind of success or creative boost or benefit in their business, even though it was illegal and it was just frankly unkind and unkempt. And because they wanted what they wanted and they didn't care, who they were hurting, they, in this regard, thought that the end justified the means. And I've been picking up a download over the last couple of days, a few of them, in regards to this. One of them is, well, I didn't think the content creator that I was stealing from would notice. That's what one karmic female energy had to say. There was another message that came through, and she was saying that since her account has more followers on it, whoever this karmic female is that's stealing, she was saying not only did she not think the light worker would notice, but that their account was so small that it wouldn't matter. But you see, that's the type of grimy thing that people who steal to get attention do to people who are authentic, who have to deal with people like that trying to undermine them. Because what that is somebody trying to copy someone else's essence. They want to be seen in a light that is not their own, but then they try to throw dirt and shade on and hide the original one, because they feel like the original will outshine them, and two, because they don't want people to have the original to compare them to, because they don't want people to figure out that they're copying. So it's a whole long con. It's not a very well thought through one, though. In the end, most certainly does not justify the means. This is partly because they do not deal well with failure or its consequences. I didn't think you'd catch me in stealing from you, so I didn't think it would matter. You hadn't made it as big as I think you could make it, and so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I steal from you and try to become you before you can even be in the full success of who you are. Let me just steal your destiny path and forget about it. No, the end does not justify the means. 838, overambitious, like it said in the beginning, right? As career-oriented, goodness. This goes up there, maybe that'll help. As career-oriented and ambitious as they are, etc., 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 don't plagiarize and copy. Pretty much is the summary of that. They enjoy power and prestige, so they want to dominate situations and people. Sounds like a toxic, abrasive, imbalanced, upside down, meaning dark-sided, fire sign to me, who are very focused on prestige and often concerned with status. So they subscribe to the notion that the end justifies the means. Well, the person I'm stealing from isn't as popular as they could be, so it doesn't matter that I'm stealing from them. I have more followers than them. Or I didn't think they'd ever find out about it. It shouldn't matter that I'm stealing from them and trying to become them and take their success from them before they even have a chance to be noticed by... Right. Popular, gonna be popular. Okay. This is partly because they do not deal well with failure or its consequences. So they thought that by copying someone they found some kind of inspiration, admiration in, that they would have that success for themselves. But you see, they need to try to, again, get rid of whoever they're trying to steal from, the competition, their perceived competition. Strange. Strange for change. Thus, they become quite adept at hiding personality traits and conforming, okay? So they try to hide aspects of who they are, including often clearly these negative quality traits, 1111, while they try to masquerade in someone else's light, personality, essence, persona, etc. Trying to conform. They see that someone else is having some kind of success in something, or that something is working for them, or they're happy with something, and so they try to snatch it for themselves. These men and women on this path often surround themselves with unstable individuals. I'd say that's a mirrored energy. And not as an insult, but the pitfalls of this path are being hysterical. So as an observation, fearful and obsessive, I would say that if they're surrounding themselves with unstable individuals, as a hysterical, fearful, and obsessive person, they're probably not very stable themselves, which is very indicative of an imbalanced, upside down, therefore dark side or low vibrational, unevolved, immature fire sign. Impulsive, reckless, thoughtless, careless. They do things and say things without thinking. They either don't care about the consequences or they think that they'll deal with them later. But sometimes those are situations where it's too late to fix anything and go back. It's like the only thing left to do is take the L and own the consequence. And that's what they try to avoid. Often going back into that reckless, impulsive energy by being combative because they don't want to accept the reality or the accountability. So instead of just learning the lesson, they fight and get themselves deeper into a big pile of it. I heard that somebody said a big pile of what? A big pile of bullshit! Karma. A big pile of karma. All jokes aside. 1333. These individuals must move past their fears to confront and come to terms with the shadow side of their personality. And so the things that they're trying to deny about themselves, when they're called out and confronted for doing things like stealing from people or copying people, they got combative instead of acknowledging the truth for what it was and admitting what it was and not doing that anymore, maybe apologizing and moving on. But they didn't do that. They wanted to demand and prove that they were right when they were wrong and be combative, and they're not. These individuals must move past their fears to confront and come to terms with the shadow side of their personality. All that is unusual or unsavory, so that they can step more fully into their true selves, which means not plagiarizing from anybody, less alone me. And so this is somebody who's also touching on Cancerian energy. And I thought while I was reading this that this reminded me of a toxic Cancerian that I've actually had to deal with. And then interestingly enough, while I was flipping through earlier to find this page that I'm on right now, I actually stumbled across a previous Cancerian energy, and actually it's in the week of the birthday of the Cancerian that has been targeting me. Or no, excuse me, it is in the particular life path. So this karmic Cancerian who's been targeting me shares a life path, interestingly enough, with Barbara Streisand, who was on the Aries Taurus cusp, but you see she ganged up on me with a Aries Taurus cusper, interestingly enough. And the thing about the Streisand effect, and this is the thing that ties this into all of this back and forth between both situations and the zodiac signs across the board where they parallel. The Streisand effect is something that a lot of people don't know about, but many years ago, I think it was the house, there was a photographer or something that was photographing, I think it was the home of Barbara Streisand, and she, or something, her family or her house or something, and she didn't like that, or the family did not like that. So they sued the newspaper or whoever put out this article, and at that point it was kind of known around the area because it was a local paper or newscast or whatever the topic was, whatever the publisher was. However, when she sued them to have them take it down because she didn't want people to see it, it went from being a possibly shruggable local story to a global story, or a national story at least, because the Streisand name was attached to it. So this being said, the moral of this story is that she tried to hide something, hide the truth of something, hide just what was. And less people knew about it when she was trying, before she was trying to hide it than after. When she started trying to hide it, when they pressed to have the photos taken down or the publisher sued, it went viral. And then everybody knew about it. And it wasn't just the small town anymore that it originated in, that the story and the photos or the article originated in. And so these karmics are having to learn the hard way that they found where they were caught doing something, and they tried to hide the truth. They tried to target the whistleblowers and the light workers, and it did not have the intended effect. It did not discredit us the way they wanted. It did not help their case or their narrative the ways that they wanted. What it did, in fact, was show people that we were right and point the finger back at them, that they were trying to point at us. For starters, an example. Okay, so there's that. Off the cuff channel. So the reference of the sign of Cancer means that they have to come to grips with their great discomfort. The journey into the lunar world, meaning the realm of emotions, energy, possibly illusion. Water signs are often illusionary if they're not careful, especially Pisces and Cancer can be delusional on the dark side. Quite out of touch with reality. Lacking logic also sometimes, or overly rigid, interestingly enough. So the journey into the lunar world, right, especially in this case when they try to start tapping into things that they know nothing about, shouldn't be touching into, and are not equipped to, like the depths of the spirit world, planes, topics, etc. Or, I don't know, like trying to snatch my shoes that don't fit people. Plagiarizer, hello. The journey into the lunar world is a very threatening one for those on this karmic path. Their sense of self will be broken down in the process. And you see, they're already plagiarizing and copying other people. They already have trouble with that. In this case, for starters, an example as a baseline. Moving on to the next piece. This is both necessary and good for these individuals, given their tendency to cling to their identities so assiduously. Okay, and so the whole concept of copying others, that clinging and fighting when called out for plagiarizing, and I mean, it's mental illness. That's an identity crisis. That sounds like some kind of personality disorder to me, some kind of cluster B, maybe personality disorder, maybe borderline personality. I know sometimes people with histrionic, if I recall, do that too, but definitely narcissism and borderline personality fall into that. Oh, and by the way, one of those can absolutely cross into the other. When you're dealing with narcissism, that person with narcissism could also have borderline personality and histrionic, for that matter, frankly. I heard that they can have all of them. Yes, indeedy. A mixed bag. Each case is different. I heard. How do you know all this? I'm hearing a song in response. It's by Sky Daddy. It's is it Battlefield? Battle Cry? I think it's Battlefield. And she says, learn to read your enemies or they'll kill you where you stand. That answers your question. 2212. Good song, guys. Thanks. Teamwork makes the dream work. So this is both necessary and good for these individuals. Therefore, trying to copy me, plagiarize me, being called out and having a reality check, having an ego check, being forced into an ego death as a result of having no choice but to accept the truth as it's presented with facts and evidence and screenshots. That's not a bad thing. And I won't go into my personal destiny path and life path. I read all about it just the other day. In fact, I'll link it in the description box when I'm done. You can hear about it. People trying to copy me, it's why it doesn't work for them. It's not their path. It is mine, though. But this is one of the things that I do as a teacher, as an educator. This is me taking the time to educate on why that was an incorrect behavior and why there's karmic backlash for that. Hopefully this person understands instead of continuing to make those poor choices and getting themselves into more discomfort and trouble, for starters. God Sent Me as Karma is the song reference I've been getting for this one. God sent me as karma. And it's not as a punishment, but these people, they think that they can try. Well, I've got more followers than you, so it's okay if I try to hurt you and steal from you or slander you or no. No, baby. See that candle just go out? You're dark. I was a test and you failed it. God hid me in plain sight. I was bait and you fell for it. You were gullible. You thought I was defenseless. Yeah, where there's fire, there's smoke. People caught on to your bullshit. And you don't want that smoke, I promise. Boo. Don't do it again. Before you get mad at those statements, go listen to the Destiny Path breakdown. You can't get upset before you do. Because the same way that I'm breaking down this one, I broke down mine, and it explains and backs up exactly why I said that statement. So you're not mad at me. If you're mad at that statement, you're mad at the truth. You just don't have enough comprehension to realize it, or you don't care. And that sounds like projection to me. Also, possible narcissism. Or possibly borderline. Some kind of cluster B. Seems like. Very likely. Delving into the depths of who they are is not always easy for them. No, that's why they would rather copy and plagiarize from other people or blame other people when they get caught and called out for it. Often securely armored against deeper awareness, they may require years of work to break down their defenses. Right? So they don't want to do the work. They don't want to acknowledge where the issues are and that they need to work on themselves, that they don't like themselves, obviously, otherwise they wouldn't be trying to usurp other people's personality. There's a very real danger when those on this karmic path refuse to do its work. And I do find that pretty regularly people that come across my path, as much as I could be like, oh, it's a pain in the ass to have to deal with all these karmics. Oh, why me? Why all these people? Because God sent me as karma, dude. I see it for what it is. People think they can try me because they've done it to other people before, or I look like a little weak, vulnerable target because I'm a woman, because I'm alone, because I'm a widow, because I'm a whatever, you know. Oh, because they injured me to the point of disability, whatever. There might be, see here, what I left. What I lack in brawn, I make up for in brains. And frankly, babe, brains are the new tits, so I still win. But the thing about that is, my spirit is much larger than theirs, and it certainly supersedes the brawn that they thought that they had on me. Talk about underestimating your target. Meaning that they thought it looked like I was all alone, poor little lamb, right? But they didn't realize that I let the divine move through me, and so they didn't realize that I had the divine standing behind me, in front of me, beside me, within me. They got away with it to other people before, and especially because of their misconceptions about me, they think I'm an easy target. But because of my strength and spirit, as well as psyche at this point, my rank, which is far superior, they misjudge. They don't realize that I am the ultimate opponent. They realize it too late, but at that point it's futile, and so is any resistance. Certainly to the divine, you best surrender on God. Not because I said so. Because the divine will force you to submit otherwise. The same way that you were trying to strong arm and brass knuckle other people, and it won't be very comfortable. I don't wish that on them. It's like resisting arrest. You know, it's much less violent and uncomfortable if you just submit to the arrest. Except we're not talking about a dirty cop pushing people around in this case. We're talking about God finally apprehending these karmics. God is the cop in this one. Big old sky daddy who came in, scooped up all the bad cops and put them where they belong. Even just energetically speaking, there's something about a level of timeout happening here for people. Some of them may be getting sick, fired, things are just going wrong in their life, or will be. And it's because of the backlash that they're getting from what they've done. It's also to keep them busy dealing with those things so that they don't have the time and energy to waste running around harassing and harming people the way that they have been. God said, oh, well, you think you've got too much time on your hands, eh? You think that you've got enough time on your hands to bully my sons and daughters, my divine light worker collective? You do you? I'll take some time off of your hands. For you, I'll make sure you're quite busy dealing with your karma so that you don't have so much time on your hands, so you're not so bored to the point where you think that, well, gunning for my light workers is the best option for you at all. Because it's not. It never was. One love, everybody. But remember that not everybody is that. When repressed too severely, these people can become quite twisted and explosive. If such content is allowed to fester for too long, it may emerge in ways that are destructive, not only to the individuals on this path, but also their loved ones, their social circle, or even society at large. Now, I would call somebody who tries to spiritually attack people, whether it be directly, cognitively, or just simply with negative energy and evil eye, who's willing to steal and plagiarize from people and refuse to take accountability. 3222, quite destructive to society at large, especially when they're doing so to smaller content creators and they're apparently building their fan foundation of almost 6 million people, of 5.52 million people, by stealing from others. I think that's problematic. And frankly, so does the law and God. Problematic to loved ones, their social circle, and even society at large. Those on this path are urged to work with a professional who can act as a mediator or guide to the world, or excuse me, those on this path are urged to work, I think this might be a typo. Yeah, this is not written correctly. Those on this path are urged to work with a professional who can act as a mediator or guide to the underworld of the psyche and feeling. And so this is what I do, right? And so this is also part of why God sent me as karma, because she's been doing things like this, and because of who I am and what I do, I was the ultimate person for her to learn this lesson from, because of who I am and because of how I respond to situations like this. I mean, like, if she needed to learn this lesson, that this was not the way to be, then I guess God thought I was a pretty good teacher for the job. There's a regulation, a balance between heart center and cognizance. Now, I've been picking up heart chakra attacks from this energy, as well as crown chakra attacks. 3422, but you see, I outrank all of these people. There's no higher than Seraphim. You can't defeat me. 3433. I seek to make God happy, therefore, guess who has my back? You don't have support in trying to take me out, therefore, for starters. Silly karmics. 757. Not that they all haven't tried, but again, these are people who repeatedly have tried to kill me, and I'm here. Sometimes they did damage and they hurt, but they tried to kill. And the reason they couldn't is because of God. God never said that they wouldn't try to do damage. God never said that they wouldn't cause harm. God specifically warned about that, in fact, a long time ago. So these karmics who think, I hurt you, so God must not be real, or you must not be protected. No, baby. God warned about that. They shall fight against you. God warned a long time ago. God also said, they shall fight against you. And they shall not prevail against you, because I am here to save you and deliver you. Some of these karmics don't even believe in God, and that's part of their issue. Whether they believe in karma or not, they don't believe in God. And so they don't care about hurting people. They don't think there are consequences, and they don't care. They just don't care. Maybe some of these people have had hurtful things done to them, and they think that since they feel like it was unjust for that to happen to them, then they should have the right to just do whatever they want in the world. No. No. That's not how that works. 3622. I mean, like, you have free will to make the actions that you make, but when you do grimy things like that, the consequences, the energy, the quantum law that comes back, it's not nice. It's karma. Happy birthday. I hope you did something nice for yourself. Cake. I see cake. Did you get a little cake? Cupcake? I hope so. I see strawberry shortcake and cheesecake. Girl, even if it's grocery store, that's fine. Do you? Whatever. That's for somebody, or an idea for somebody. I saw that specifically it's like a kind of like angel food cake, I think. It's got strawberries and whipped cream, and then there's one that's chocolate, I see also. Interesting. Oh, sometimes they have those mixed, like, variety assortments too. 3 cakes. Oh, it was it. Strawberry cheesecake. That's funny. That's really cool. Good. I hope you liked it. So, let's see. These are people in this path need to release their need for material security, and therefore feeling like plagiarizing from other people or copying other people is, especially to get up in business, because they think that someone else is successful and they want to get up in that or become that person. That's not the way to be, especially when this person's path is supposed to be the path of originality, but they just got caught plagiarizing from someone else. And their suggestion is realize that not everything can be controlled. And that's it, is when they got exposed for, they tried to control their reality and their success by stealing and copying someone else's. And when they got called out for it, they sent, oh, we're going to tap into that. I've been picking up both energies. Some of it's just oblivious evil eye. They don't realize that while they're jealously lurking on our pages and hoping that we just shut up and wishing for our downfall because they feel like they're going to catch karma for what we did, for what they did to us, or whatever, That's the evil eye. Some of them don't realize that, but some of them do. Some of them have been genuinely throwing straight up dark spell work in attempt to cause harm or shut people up. And some of it's just that oblivious, like, nasty neighbor kind of energy. Maybe they don't necessarily play with spell work, but they throw a mean stink eye. Like daggers. energy comes with it. It's gross. But I do have a couple of decks here, and we'll check on both sides, the conscious spell work and then the unconscious. Realize not everything can be controlled. So when they got called out for whatever they got caught for, then they tried to silence people and shut them up. Whether, again, this be with unconscious thinking or cognitive intent. Fear of losing the security of the corporate world can be a powerful force to keep them from doing the work of this path. Now, it doesn't have to be necessarily corporate world as in suits and ties, could be. This could just be in regards to the career realm in general. Seems to be a big theme and topic, especially since that's part of where the plagiarism has come from. Along the way, they may have to grapple with the disapproval or discouragement of others. And now this is what they're being forced to deal with. They're being disapproved of because they're being grimy and taking from others and frankly being fake. Like, how are you going to go around promoting that you have a talent agency while stealing other people's, not even just content, but username handles? True story, bro. Needs no dragons. Rawr. Merry Christmas. Happy Easter. Happy birthday. You're happy Hanukkah. Okay. Kwanzaa. Whatever. Whatever floats your boat. I don't judge. Love is love. Remember, not everybody's that. Along the way, of course, some on this path may go too far. Now, that's been a message this week about these plagiarizing energies. They did too much, I said. 4222. Changing too radically and too quickly, whether lifestyle, hairstyle, clothing, or speech. Meaning suddenly they just start adopting someone else's entire life and personality, or words, username handles, or whatever. Anything else? Concepts, intellectual property. Trademarks and copyrights, for starters. Changing too radically and too quickly may cause those on this path to risk rejection due to what is perceived as antisocial behavior. Now, in this reference, I'm picking up like antisocial personality disorder is the reference. And that seems to be what happens on the dark side of this particular path. So there's something about this being a personality that's torn between self-destructive and hysterical revels. Imbalanced. And the interesting thing about this is that there was a reference yesterday when I had to address this and call this out. $44.22. Of calling this girl out for stealing from a widowed single mother and food out of her child's mouth, resultantly protection for them. 44.44. How are you going to sit there with almost 6 million followers and do that to my daughter and I? Is a viable, valid question. Now, I say that because the next statement in this destiny path for this particular person references the Greek mythology of the earth goddess Demeter. You see, Demeter was a mother whose daughter was kidnapped. Demeter's creative progeny, her beloved daughter Persephone, meaning she poured everything into her child. She focused her whole life, she built her whole life around her child to try to help her child flourish and build a positive life and a platform for her child to grow and thrive from, like a legacy to leave, right? Only to have people come in and disturb it. Now, while she was nurturing and loving her child, she was still running a lifestyle, flourishing businesses, and making sure everything was growing properly. But when they tried to suck the light out of her life by kidnapping her child, everything else got put on hold, including the earth plane. All the flowers and the fruit and the vegetables and everything started to die. And verbatim, this path is reminiscent of Demeter. Demeter's creative progeny, her beloved daughter Persephone, was carried against her will to the underworld by its ruler, Hades. So that's the Greek version of the devil. In her grief and despair, Demeter went in search of her daughter and neglected her duties, causing the earth to be barren. It also reminds me of aspects of the desert in the Osiris story. And also, in that previous Cancerian energy where the Barbra Streisand energy came up, that particular life path references the Egyptian goddess Isis. Except for that Cancerian karmic energy from that path actually resonates more amongst the energy of the karmic female Nephthys, which is not always a being that is referenced, but in some storylines you have, in all of them you have Osiris, Isis, and Set, but in some of them you have Osiris, Isis, Set, and then also Nephthys. Nephthys was like the karmic female to the karmic male. Set was the karmic male, and so you had divine feminine and divine masculine, which were Osiris and Isis. And Nephthys was jealous of Isis. She went as far as trying to like roofie Osiris's drink and dress up as Isis to try to trick him while he was under the influence into thinking that she was Isis so that she could get pregnant. She was so jealous. She was willing to drug and rape someone else's husband to get pregnant. 4822. And the baby, when it was born, ended up being Anubis in that story. And Anubis, even though it was technically the like step, how was it, like the niece, right? Would have been the nephew of Isis. She adopted him because he chose her. He wanted her to be, he resonated with her. I'll just leave it at that. But interestingly enough, the way that played back and forth, you know, and that particular karmic female energy, yeah, that's somebody involved with stealing my child, kidnapping my child. Oh, and the Barbra Streisand, her birthday falls on the Aries Taurus cusp. Well, you see, one of the people that this Cancerian energy ganged up on me with to help kidnap my child, also Aries Taurus cusp. So you see where that all plays back and forth. 4922. Pretty gross, but it's right there. I've got another one too. Hold on. Persephone also represents her mother's creativity. And so there's a tie between them. There's a tie between... I've been picking up... well, you didn't seem to invest as much as into your career as I did. No, you invested your time into stealing from others. I had to put all my stuff on hold, like Demeter, to try to rescue my child from the depths of hell, from Hades. In whatever manner of speaking you want to spin that. Well, like I've been saying, I put crooked judges and lawyers and dirty cops on blast. I whistleblow on all kinds of crooked officials. Who do you think you are? You think you're special? You're just another criminal. You think I won't put you out on Front Street? Joke's on you, boo-boo. Foolish. So there's that. If you were so special, you wouldn't need to copy people. Next. Here's another one. The crystal that aligns with this is charoite. I actually have some of that here. It aligns the upper chakras, meaning that this person's crown chakra, third eye, throat chakra is all out of whack. It's why they're trying to silence people for telling the truth, why they've been lying and slandering and taking content and whatever they're taking that's not theirs. It's why they thought it was a good idea to do what they did, thinking in that higher crown chakra energy when it wasn't. It was a bad idea. It's why they couldn't see themselves getting in trouble for what they did, or they either didn't care about the foresight, didn't care about the hindsight, couldn't see it. They lack intuition or creativity, really, because if they had that, I feel that they wouldn't need to plagiarize from other people either. So there are a couple of angles to that one, but either way, you get to the same consensus. Whether it's 4 minus 2 or 6 minus 4, you still get 2 at the same point, regardless. So then you have one more, and this is somebody who shares this particular path, which I do find quite interesting, okay? Because this is the name of the daycare provider, the school provider that I used to pay exorbitant amounts of money to send my daughter to. And it's not a Montessori school, but it is a Waldorf school. And I say that because Waldorf and Montessori are pretty parallel on a lot of levels. They're very similar in good ways. And so for these people to be targeting mother and child, not following a destiny path, in fact, on the wrong side of destiny, on the dark side, on this bad side of karma, but also for somebody who was on the positive side of what could have been this person's destiny path, to be the creator of the Montessori. That's why this person is impressive. That's why I brought up the name Dr. Maria Montessori. Montessori is a school. It's a school. It's an alternative type of school that focuses on, in some cases, like naturopathic forms of lifestyle, but healing. There's lots of nature. They make sure the kids get outside. They don't plop them in front of TVs. They read, and they have interactive like play sets and projects, and it's a much healthier and positively brain conductive environment for children, all right, developmentally speaking. And for those that it works for, it works wonderfully for. Waldorf is similar, and so we went with Waldorf. But I did find it pretty ironic that Dr. Montessori shares this path. But she followed hers. She found a balance between hers in a way that these people did not. So there's that. Now, I would love to. Actually, let's put this book back where it belongs. Hold on. So I need to grab some water. Light another candle. Impeccable. Oh dear, my wick disappeared in that one. We'll try this one. There's a Karmic who's trying. I'm so effing sorry. I'm so sorry. I feel like they're sorry they got caught. But they're realizing they were wrong. Also, just as a side note and a disclaimer, I will be linking the previous zodiac breakdown of the dark side of Cancer, and even the Taurus one is in the description box. It's come up in this one. It's kind of paralleled in this particular reading. But, you know, if I recall, I also have picked up before that Cancerian energy has some, I think Sagittarius or some kind of imbalance, very reckless fire sign in her chart, makes her impulsive, very promiscuous, in fact. She kind of is, she's been passed around a town. She has a tendency of meeting people at bars and sleeping with them. At last call, upon meeting them that night. And she's contracted venereal diseases that way, so somebody says, how do you know that? Because she went around, or more specifically her partner in crime, who she met as a one-night stand and then continued to commit crimes and hook up with. He was going around and accusing people of giving him an STD because he said he gave it to her. So either she gave it to him when they hooked up and then he realized he had it and thought he gave it to her. Whether maybe she knew she had it and she didn't care, or she didn't mention it. Maybe she didn't. But either way, whether one of them knew they had it and just didn't say anything, or maybe one of them was carrying it and didn't know. It could have gone either way, I suppose. Theoretically speaking. Just scientifically speaking. And it's like the one that showed up with symptoms first got the blame, or maybe she claimed that she wasn't with people before him. And so when they hooked up at the bar and then she claimed that he gave her an STD, it's like she tried to blame either his ex for it, or I don't know, people he was with. It could have been either of them, really. But regardless, reckless. Oh, sorry, that was loud. Impulsive, very toxic. Yeah, Divine Masculine says, yeah, plenty of people go out and have fun and even just like meet people at the club, but not everybody, I hear that, bumps uglies, like grinds gears on the first night, especially with no rubber. Yeah. Yeah, it's dangerous and pretty reckless. Yeah, he says you either have to be like seriously on drugs and fucked up and not even thinking about it, or you just genuinely have to not care about your life, or both, which may be why the drugs were a factor, if they were a factor, which I hear in this case they were. But again, all of that's very reckless, impulsive fire sign. It's giving dark side of Sagittarius. Honest. Doesn't just have to be Sag. I've seen toxic Leos do it too, actually. I've also seen people with Aries in their chart, myself included, but not just. I've seen an Aries male go many years celibate. It's just about balance. And I'm not saying that there haven't been or couldn't be possibly reckless Aries out there in the world, but what I will say is that I've seen very reckless, impulsive, especially including not just, but yes, sexually promiscuous Leo on the dark side, as well as Sagittarius, but the Aries that I've come across, maybe they each have their own quirks and stuff to work out, but promiscuity wasn't an issue for them. It was, myself included, quite the opposite. By opposite, I mean being a deep enough person that you know that it's not worth draining your energy, letting someone else drain your energy. It's better to be alone than in the company of the wrong people. I heard that's giving stigma alpha, yep. Frankly. Somebody says, was that other guy some kind of alpha sigma? Yeah, I would say so. Not mine, but I could recognize it. Until he broke his spine and became paralyzed. I heard that. I don't, Divine Masculine says you don't even have to finish that sentence. He was running the household. He was head of household then, yeah, that's where I was going with that. So, yeah, I would say. Cheers. Divine Masculine says, yeah, but fire signs are typically like very social creatures, so it's not like they didn't want some kind of companionship, right? No, it's just that, you know, we just know better, especially when we know about human nature, and until you align with the right person, sometimes it's better to keep your own space rather than put yourself in a bad spot. Comes with wisdom and experience. 6322, excuse me. So anyway, all that aside, jumping back in. After those fun little side channels. Whoops, sorry about that too. That was loud. I hear a bitch. I said what I said. That's so funny. Can I get one for... thank you. Couple, I guess. Can I get a few for the Karmic energy? Okay, what's their karma? And the final outcome, or how people are perceiving them, the situation. And then also, same thing for the light workers, please. myself included in this specifically. In fact, this one, my initial intention was to pull it for me after those theft incidents and then attacks upon calling it out. So those who resonate with this can certainly apply it where it does as a collective. This right side is for me. Let's start with the karmics on the left. Their current energy: manipulating and exploiting others, illicit means, shady deals, drug trafficking, opportunist, yeah, hence the theft, plagiarism, etc. Dishonest, greedy, dissatisfied perfectionist, manages in an over-analytical manner, squandering, permissiveness, sloppiness, bankruptcy, loss in business, insoluble problems, acting too hastily, poor use of capital and resources, possessive, forcing destiny, placing importance on results, so again, trying to force things to be successful for them, even by stealing from other people, for whatever reason, including thinking that they were more important than others because they had more followers, or they wouldn't get caught because the person they were stealing from had less followers. Grimy, either way. And that those may not be the only reasons or situations or issues, but I know those were a few thought processes for some of these people. Frankly, this one's about CrazyCae, so. August 23rd to, these are birth dates, death dates, anniversaries of people involved, victims, targeters, or when they committed some kind of atrocity, or when they're going to catch karma for it. August 23rd to August 28th, April 21st. Oh, interesting. You mean the birthday of the Taurus male in question that popped up earlier. Yeah, okay. Well, there's that. July 4th, July 5th in the morning. Oh, like a bad neighbor. Yeah, okay. Because that was the week that the I just have to call it like I hear it, the karmic crap stain in the neighborhood that was recruited by a convicted abuser decided to try to stir the pot. Heard. If you like the way you look so much, maybe you should go and love yourself. 6822. Mama don't like you and she likes everyone. Yeah. Said my mama don't like you and she likes everyone. Indiscretion, self-centeredness, family problems, proud, vain, jealous, motivated by ambition, yeah, greed, and covetousness, yeah, jealousy, fleeing one's responsibilities and one's life plan. Yeah, I told you that's why there was a polar opposite and parallel in the behaviors of some involved, as well as the whole book reference. And I don't enjoy this. This is not a haha, I told you so. This is a here's the information, I told you earlier, this is what it is. Here's your confirmation. This is avoidable. Don't follow in these footsteps. I don't advise this behavior. This is no bueno, I hear. So, I see the Tower of Babel, and what is that? Lot. I'm telling you, I don't wish this on people. Lot as in Sodom and Gomorrah. Desire for earthly power and glory, abuse of authority and power or platform as well. Competitive spirit, passion, abiding by the laws of the jungle, so not ethical, not any kind of teamwork, not legal, not fair, not nice, not humane. Anarchy, conspiracy, treachery. Mind you, this is stacked for CrazyCae. Social disorder, imposing one's point of view, does not listen to others. Inferiority or superiority complex. Negative consequences from disorderly action, so stealing from me and trying to, whether it be actually through spell work or just being nasty with the evil eye, there's karma for that. Here you need to leave the collective alone as well. July 28th to August 1st. August 1st is the birthday of the toxic Leo I mentioned also, that I have seen. Very promiscuous, impulsive, reckless, wanted earthly power and glory, abused what positions of power and authority, in fact, was in the military, and then when he got out of the military, he was a bounty hunter, and he used his professional training to stalk me because I wouldn't be with him or be part of his little cult or be part of his little polygamy cult, polygamy, sex, no. I also wouldn't be a side piece. I'm the Empress. What do you mean? I'm not an option. I am the only. And if I'm not your only, you're not an option. 7222 says the Empress. Just collectively speaking, this is just where divine feminines on the upright, those who are in a high vibration, are at. And it's not that she wants any person to fill the shoes. She wants her divinely aligned person. I heard real men can't be bought or stolen. Nope. April 15th, June 29th, September 12th, November 24th, February 2nd, 8:20 a.m., 8:39 a.m. Self-interest, self-centered, predator, material failure, ruin, useless, sterile activities, so like going around stealing from people or claiming character development on a series where you're actually just taking concepts from other people. For starters, material failure, useless, sterile activities, ruin, excessive willfulness, rigidity, tyranny, bad temper, blasphemy, I mentioned that yesterday. Wealth used solely for material purposes. Pride, torrential rains, floods, polluted waters, catastrophic climates, fires, confused feelings, aggression, transgression, corruption, defying the laws, crushing others. There's an evil eye attack going through. I feel it in the heart. And I feel it in the crown. I want to pause this and I want to check on this energy, but I'm being called to finish this psychology section first. So let's do the behavioral science and we'll move forward. Social sciences for the win. Torrential rains, floods, polluted water. Speaking of, I need to hydrate. I just heard the geese clairaudiently. You know what? It's almost, I bet they're flying. I don't know if they end up in Florida. I don't know exactly where these ones go, but I know that the ones that are here, that's a long journey. That's amazing, you know? I bet the ones here, I know rather the ones here travel down south. I don't know if they go to Florida, but it wouldn't surprise me if they did, or somewhere like that. And there are two things I'm picking up. One is, I bet you down there, it's about 8:30 p.m. on the East Coast, meaning if it were Florida or somewhere around there, it would be the same time. And I bet you there's more daylight down there right now than there is here. Meaning that I bet you it's just about the time they're getting ready to settle in for the night, wherever they are. And I bet my little geese here are wherever they are doing their routine. If they were here, they'd probably be doing it about now. If the season was right, but it's not right now, so I bet they're doing it there. That's one. Secondarily, the other side of that is that they will start doing that again here in the spring, and that's coming sooner than later. So there's an emphasis on regeneration, healing, cycles picking back up, being able to move forward with things that you had to put on the back burner, put on hold, or pause, especially while dealing with survival. And I do mean that. It's like creative projects and things that actually had to be put on hold because whatever survival mechanisms or survival mode that somebody was placed in required them to focus on fixing that situation before doing whatever other thing, an art project or whatever they were working on subsequently. That flow space in the brain, that let's do an art project kind of chill space in the brain, that's a different brainwave frequency than trauma survival mode. In fact, they're quite conflicting. In fact, that healing space is often what sparks those creative, I hear juices flowing again, gets those creative juices flowing again, but the trauma space can actually block it. It's because of the requirement to focus on what's more important just as a basic primal mammalian response, which is surviving a threat, not, again, like painting an art project or something. And it's why when you give your body and your brain and your being, your environment allows you to relax or start healing, then often you get more creative ideas or inspirations, or they come back because the brainwave shifted and you have space for them now. Otherwise, that space is being taken up with survival. Or more specifically, it's a different center of the brain that's activated. The creative space and the survival center are different. So here we go. Torrential rains, floods, polluted waters, catastrophic climates, fires, confused feelings, aggression, transgression, corruption, defying the laws, and crushing others. April 26th to April 30th, March 28th, June 10th, August 25th, November 6th, January 16th, 2:20 a.m. to 2:39 a.m. Black magic, satanic pact, renouncing God and atheism. So this is somebody who swings on one side of the extreme or the other. They either don't believe in God or anything, they're atheist, or they're playing in black magic. But either way, they think that they can attack people because they think they can, they want to and they can, they're playing with black magic, or they don't think that there's karma, they don't believe in divine providence, they don't believe in God, so in some cases they don't believe in good or bad, they just believe that things are what they are and therefore they shouldn't have any consequences, and that's not how that works. Possession, bewitchment, misfortune, and despair, and really that sounds like a trap of the devil to me. It's like the devil trying to convince people that they can do what they want and they'll have no consequences and it is what it is. Like those people listening to those impulses, the little devil on their shoulder. Because if they believe that, then they won't think twice about making poor choices at all, let alone against others. They won't think twice about the karma that they'll catch for it or the consequences that they'll be in. If they don't believe that there will be any, why would they think about them? If they don't think about them, why would they think twice about doing whatever it is that they were thinking about doing that is a terrible idea? They don't. So they just keep doing it until they get caught. And this goes back into why I mentioned earlier the whole reference of God sent me his karma, okay? A lot of these people have continued to do these things over and over again, if not in multiple life cycles, then to just different people through life in this one, or the same people over and over again in this life. And eventually, because they've gotten away with it for so long, or those manipulation tactics have worked for them, they think that they're invincible, they don't plan to stop. God knows they won't stop. God sends somebody who does not give them a choice but to stop or be exposed for doing what they're doing and having to take accountability for it, often publicly, embarrassingly. And in this case, that would be me. It's not why me, it's God sent me his karma, I see it. Now, does it always need to be like that? No. Is it always going to be like that? No. But I see it for what it is, as the teacher in the lesson. I just accepted the mission. So when God says jump, my only question is how high. Material interests, self-centeredness, agitated, incoherent, impatient, going against destiny and universal laws. July 23rd, July 27th, to July 27th rather. April 14th, June 28th, September 11th, November 23rd, February 1st, 8 a.m. to 8:19 a.m. And then also illness and disease, medicine without conscience, using medicine solely for material gain, pollution that is harmful to vegetation and the environment, corrupt feelings and undertakings, difficulty improvising and expressing feelings, artificial agriculture and food, unhealthy thoughts, destructive and polluting mind. July 12th to July 16th, April 12th, June 26th, September 9th, November 21st, January 30th, 7:20 a.m. to 7:39 a.m. Okay, so what's her karma? What's their karma? 8422. They will continue to, apparently, okay, so this is why they're catching karma. because they did not understand the sense of an ordeal, okay? They did not want to acknowledge where they were wrong, how they were wrong, that they were wrong. So they kept pushing and fighting when they were wrong against people who were not. Instability, yeah, so I said earlier, it seemed unstable to me. Inconsistency, going astray. They did not follow any kind of divine plan. They were not wise or decent. Feeling of revenge, persecution, and punishment. Yeah, they were trying to persecute light workers, punish them for speaking up, punish them for noticing that they were stealing, by persecuting them to get revenge for being called out for stealing. Because they wanted to flee their responsibility of taking accountability. I'm not making it up, it's right here. Just like all the others. Indifference, emotional coldness. Yes, person was out of touch and cruel. Those were not nice behaviors. Evil forces. Living by illicit means and acting illegally. Yeah, that was wildly illicit. Delinquent, criminal, reaping the benefits of violence. Yep, even spiritual attacks referenced here. Corruption, fraud, theft, imprisonment, victim of judicial rigidity. July 17th to July 22nd, April 13th, June 27th, September 10th, November 22nd, January 31st, 7:40 a.m. to 7:59 a.m. So the law is not on their side either. So how are people seeing them, and also the outcome? Dangerous spirituality, false guru. So they were plagiarizing. In Crazy's case, she was plagiarizing my SeraFae handle, which is a reference to my personal bloodline family tree lineage, but also my particular spiritual rank and reference. It's not a character for me, it's a core part of who I am, so it's just not something to copy, especially when I'm being authentic, first of all, and also I have legal copyrights in place, for starters. Squandering, broken promises, hidden crimes. Yeah, they didn't want people to know they were stealing. She didn't. Moral decadence, right? So lacking ethics and morality. Negligence, nonchalance, indifference, laxness, poor health, and difficult karma. That's what's coming. Bulimia, sexual excess, lust, prisoner, lawbreaker. May 6th to May 10th. March 30th, June 12th, and June 13th in the morning. August 27th, November 8th, January 18th, 3 a.m. to 3:19 a.m. I'm not making it up. Heard that. 88:22 rather. Fear of loving and being loved. Hatred, war, non-reconciliation. Hypocritical, deceiving others, right? Like taking from people, claiming originality when it's not. Manipulating to obtain the favors of those in power. Yeah, like presenting yourself to a talent agency when you're stealing from others, for example. Resentment, malevolence, hostility. May 1st to May 5th, March 29th, June 11th, August 26th, November 7th, January 17th, 2:40 a.m. to 2:59 a.m. Ignorance, learning without understanding. Right, like copying my SeraFae handle without having a clue what it means, not spiritually speaking, not that it is a personal tie to me, to my lineage, to my family tree and history, to my bloodline, to my belief system, to who I am. to my name. One of them. Seeking and trying to use knowledge for one's own ends. Exactly. Just like that. I'll link this right in the description box with a timestamp 9022 on the count. Rejecting learning, weak mentality gets lost in abstraction. And I told you that yesterday, the weakest energy of the bunch. And I've also been picking up that there's going to be another maybe like 1 or 2 plagiarizer issues to uncover and expose, but you know, they're just, it is what it is. It's the same old thing. Been there, done that. Can handle it. And will. I already see it in advance. One of them is a smaller scale person. It's like not even relevant. Sometimes I'm called to just let God knock them out. They're not even going to make a dent or do anything. But there's another one I'm picking up on that might even have a bigger following than CrazyCae. And that is just unacceptable. So bet your sweet ass that I will also be exposing that if and when that pops up. Not if, when that pops up, because they're telling me there are 2 more. One is small fry, one is small scale, and the other is bigger. I don't know if it's 5.52 million or more, but they're saying it's somebody that's prominent enough for it to be a problem, and they shouldn't be doing that. Nobody should be doing that, but especially when you have that kind of following. It's just gross and unethical, and frankly pretty crass, for starters. Yuck. No thank you. Can't relate. 9222. Prejudiced, vindictive, erroneous mental structures. I did use that word earlier. In fact, when calling out another small fry plagiarizer, not even by name earlier, I noticed another one after Crazy. Right? There was Katie, then Crazy, and then I noticed another small fry today. God said, don't even mention this broad's name. She's not worth it. You don't need to do that. Sometimes you need to drag these people and balance the scales with the truth. But this one's not even worth it. Let me handle it. She's a little wench. I'll crush her for you. You know why? Because God knows I've got bigger fish to fry. And so God says, focus on that. 9322. I got the shrimpy. Don't worry, girl. I'll make some ceviche out of her for you. Okay, Daddy. Sky Daddy. Erroneous mental structures. Incapable of applying knowledge. Bewitchment through the lack of knowledge. July 2nd to July 6th. And the week of July 4th. April, nasty neighbor. And I just happened to use that as a fluke example, but there it is. It was a channel, obviously. April 10th, June, and that's why I used it as an example. I heard it and picked it up. It came out too. June 24th, September 7th, November 19th, January 28th, 6:40 a.m., 6:59 a.m. Isolation, alienation, impulsiveness, aggression, addictions, negativity, indiscretion, lies, betrayal, breach of trust, hallucinations, deceitful practice, and wild imaginings of an unbalanced medium. So somebody claiming to be things that they're not, including me. Confusion between dreams and reality, phobias, agoraphobia, claustrophobia, etc. May 16th to May 20th, April 1st, jokes on them, June 15th, August 29th, November 10th, January 20th, 3:40 a.m. to 3:59 a.m. 9516. Okay, so then we had my stack and just my energy as a whole. Start out with renown, celebrity, and this is also, I'm picking up the perception of others, realizing that's why people have been trying to steal from me, because obviously I'm the top, I'm the tits, I'm big dog. And they wouldn't be copying from me if I wasn't, well, number one, the Empress, the best, the GOAT. That's what I'm hearing. Heard that earlier too. Patronage, philanthropy, political, artistic, and scientific activities, great generosity, encouraging goodness, leader, diplomacy, leadership, fortune, wealth, business, altruism, allowing us to make surprising discoveries. Yeah, like exposing the truth on this. Travel. It's also 22 on that card. That's my twin flame number, one of them. You know. Whoop, I don't know why it won't pick up. Hold on. Sublimation. Science of mixtures and exchanges. Transubstantiation. It's funny, changing one substance into another, like SeraFae. Hello, the bridge between the both. Seraphim angel to fairy, vice versa. Universal like a butterfly. Universal history, chrysalis to butterfly. Change, mutation, metamorphosis, exactly. Transfiguration, transfer. Culinary art, painting, music. Capacity to detect origin and genesis. Also frauds and thieves, plagiarizers as a result, and that they're not the original. They're not the origin or the genesis of the situation or content and creation. Visionary, able to read signs, abstract truth transformed into concrete truth. Study of high science, joy, liking solitude. So, my dharma coming through, blessings for continuing to push forward. Victory, renowned celebrity, success, expertise, life of devotion, altruism, kindness, receiving the light of God, confidence, enthusiasm, joy, successful initiations, exalted love for divine work, businesses that are useful and profitable for humanity, can obtain anything from the great people of the world, cosmic organization. And final outcome, how people are perceiving, that I have discernment, that I also procure a sense of action, revealing the cause of a problem or problems, liberating prisoners or people who are being oppressed or taken from, renouncing material privileges to devote oneself to a mission. Yeah, it's why also the divine is quite offended by what these people have been doing, and frankly, I speak up against it because, listen to this. Renouncing material privileges to devote oneself to a mission. So to be a positive benefit to society, there were times where I took hits. Speaking the truth put a target on my back, and yeah, sometimes people were trying to mess with my money as a result, and they tried to mess with my health, my life, my well-being on any level that they could. So the title that these people are copying, it's who I am, that I've built with blood, sweat, and tears. Renouncing material privileges to devote oneself to a mission. For clout and for profit, while being who I am that they're trying to copy, and honoring the title, because I am who I claim to be and nothing else. Not only did it nearly kill me a few times, but I did so generously at sometimes a cost. But it didn't matter. The cost or the gain, even for myself. As long as God was happy. Because I knew on the other side of that, the payout would eventually be much greater. You know, these people thought that they could nickel and dime me and keep me quiet. When I pop off and I finally finish popping off, like, you're not going to be able to go anywhere without seeing my face or my name on the TV screen or in a magazine cover, okay? You're not. So while you think you're going to shortcut your way to the top, which is actually getting you bad karma and nothing, gets you stripped of everything you thought you'd gained and then some, you think you're going to hold me back or block my blessings. No, when I do finally pop off and finish popping off, it's straight to the top because I earned it. So slow and steady grind, but I earned it. You did not. Keep seeing a flash of the chutes and ladders or snakes and ladders. No, you hit a snake, babe. A couple of them because you chose to be a snake. It was grimy. And I continued to climb straight to the top. Not by stepping on people's fingers and toes and faces and nose. By doing the work. Inside and out, and you wouldn't know the first thing. Observationally speaking. Cheers. Strategic genius. Decisiveness, participating in building a new world. Magnanimity, devotion to it, there it is, great cause through one's ideas. Comprehension, despite the cost. Comprehension of life plans, gifted intellect, power of anticipation. Divine Masculine says that's why you deserve it all. I know. Thank you. Submission, receptivity, perfect submission to fair parents and to the right authority. Paternal love, obedience and respect, healing of anxiety, depression, and mental illness. Regeneration and respect for the hierarchy, meaning the boss, the divine, in this case. Fortune, support, modesty, simplicity, altruism, bringing gifts from providence from the divine. Fortune on all levels, creator of ideas and atmosphere. Renown and celebrity in complete humility. Health, talents, esteemed by all, ease of elocution, expresses oneself clearly and simply, agreeable disposition, hope, humor, and optimism. Let's see, shall we? Please remember to hydrate. Now that I don't have to read those anymore, $106.22. Let's do some Reiki, actually. Excuse me, before I crack into these cards. Before I do that, watch your eyes. I'm turning the light on. Actually, we'll do this. Hold on. I have a better idea. Sometimes it's finicky. Better. Somebody says, what are those? These are flower essences. Now, I do use them. But when I do Reiki, I like to add them into my water. It just adds an extra boost. So, the Reiki comes from God. It's nail polish under my nail, not dirt, by the way. Karmic mail says, how do we know? Because they're clean. It's just nail polish. How do you get it under your nail? Probably from trying to wipe it off the side of the other one. I had a cat in my lap. I went to clean up one nail with the other. That one. Why are you so concerned? I have answers for you. I don't have a problem explaining, but I do find it very weird that you're so fixated on the underside of my fingernails. You know? I think that's a little weird for a dude, or anybody really, but yeah, also. Like, what? 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 What's up? 109.22. Weird. It's a Taurus male, by the way. I'm picking up. I don't know who that is. So weird. Divine Masculine thinks I'm hilarious. I'm being serious. So I let the divine channel through. That's where the Reiki comes from. It does not come from me. It comes through me. I'm a vessel. But I do add an extra boost with these, so when I take them regardless. But when I do, and then I go to do the Reiki, whatever ones that I've just used for myself end up being channeled, I find, through the energy as well. Restore endurance. And then there's one more. Adapt to change. So these are the upcoming energies. So weird. I don't know, like, can you imagine? Can you imagine? It's so strange. I don't even know. I don't even know. I'm having a hard time grasping, like, why would a dude be so concerned with what's underneath my fingernail? I think that's really weird. Like, exquisitely. It's giving super psycho stalker. I don't understand. Other than it's not normal seeming. Anyway, moving on. That's been the theme, hasn't it, lately? Of these people who are obsessed like, with everything. Trying to figure out what we wear, how we smell, what we dress like. I'm hearing even like what kind of toothpaste we use. These people are weird, dude. It's giving like super stalker celebrity fan. I don't like this, dude. Divine Masculine says you need a bodyguard. You know, I've been thinking about that for a while. Divine Masculine says, how long is a while? You know, I mean, at least a few years. 1/12/22. That's why financial abuse is a domestic abuser's favorite tool, one of them. Because how do you hire proper protection, right? When they're blocking or stealing all your money. That's the thought process behind it anyway. That's why they do it. It's their motive. Divine Masculine says, so you basically just have to like choose between what you can do and like how do you how do you survive? How do you eat? Then it's like you have to choose what basic survival things that you can take care of. And yeah, and so in that case, when you have to choose between, okay, do we put food in the fridge this week and make sure that there's a roof over our heads, or do we go and we pay for some protection to get out of this? I mean, at that point, you've got people either threatening to disrupt your home stability or whatever your environment is. And then on the flip side, oh, they're so mad at this. I feel that. The damages that are being done are so destabilizing anyway. That it causes a reduction of quality of life regardless. So basically it's either like you, in their mind, you suck it up and two options, let them pretty much entirely take you out, or just tolerate whatever bullying and abuse to the point of being maimed. Let them take what they want and injure you into being injured, or just straight up take you out. No, both of those are terrible options. You go away, stay seated. Divine Masculine says, bait into rage. They try to bait people into a rage. It's the reactive abuse. Reduction of quality of life. He says that's it's a real legal term. That's a good one, he said. It's a real legal term. It's a type of damage. And one of the types of damages. In court? Yes, in court. In a court of law. Reduction of quality of life. Just tolerate it. Tolerate me taking what I want from you. You suffer with whatever scrids I leave you. And if you don't, I'll just fully destroy you. Oh, the fuck? Get grips. Plural. Seek therapy. For starters. What's wrong with you? Anyway. Oh, I hear that. It's from Weeds. Little boxes on the hillside. The little boxes made of ticky-tacky and they're all made out of something and they're all in just a row. Yeah. There are blue ones and the green ones. There are pink ones and blue ones, rather. And green ones and yellow ones. And they're all made out of ticky-tacky and they all look just the same. That's funny. Nancy, I hear Nancy. There's sovereignty Reiki coming through. Also, there's clarity Reiki and claircognizance Reiki, and then clearance Reiki as well. This is a specific emphasis on clearing out energies. I did also just see 9:22 on the clock, by the way, on the East Coast. Who were trying to be oppressive, invasive, lack accountability, and I keep getting a big emphasis on thieves. And it's not, baby, it's not like Robin Hood. It's, you have almost 6 million followers and you're trying to steal from somebody who has been repeatedly targeted, shadow banned, had her accounts illegally, falsely attacked to the point of being shut down. And is working towards 1,500. But that's the thing, is I stopped building my account years ago because I had to put all this on hold. It's still growing organically. Even without that. It just doesn't, the way that it does when I work as quickly as it does when I'm working the way that I do. Putting out content the way that I do, that's not how it builds the way that I initially started building here. But my account has still continued to grow substantially, just naturally, organically, because I'm the OG. These people don't care or didn't care to see or didn't have the capacity to see all of the work that went into the shell of what they were trying to copy. It's just not it. I'm getting a couple of analogies. It's like going to bite into a donut, or piece of bread, or I don't know, these are just what I saw, so somebody must like these things. Or even like opening a bag of chips and I see it, somebody's so excited and their donut is supposed to be stuffed with something, filling or something, and it's like empty and kind of just deflates when they bite into it. Or the bread it's again same thing, it's tasteless and it just kind of smushes or crumbles apart. It doesn't really maintain its form as bread. It's not bread. Or they bite into it and it kind of crumbles in their mouth and it tastes like chalk. It's very chalky. I'm like, ew, that's not what you want when you go to bite into a nice piece of bread, right? When you open a bag of chips and there are 3 chips in the bottom of it and you think, well, yeah, it'll be at least like half or 3/4 air, right, to protect the chips and what have you, but you get into the bottom and it's straight up empty. No, imagine the disappointment someone go to open up your favorite bag of chips on your lunch break and you crack open the bag and it's empty. Stop ripping people off. The bad knockoff thing isn't cute. Say less. Just like trying to rip people off because it didn't work. Oh dear, I'm picking up the karma on full swing of the backlash for the people who decided to try to destiny swap. Oh Lord, this one's gonna hurt. Mommy. No, I was targeted by people who were doing those things. I wasn't the only one. But I am picking up, collectively speaking, the people who were doing that. It's like a wind up. It's like a boxer with a big punching bag on it. Oh. What is that game called? It's an old game. Tetherball. Thank you, Heard. Love you very much. Thank you. If you know, you know. I don't think a lot of kids now really know what that is. I can imagine a lot of them wouldn't. I was a 90s baby, so I think I was kind of in that halfway in between. I don't really think many of the kids after me learned about that, but it was something that generations before me had. And it kind of just spilled over. We still had one on the playground when I was in school, towards the end of that. But regardless, if you hit the tetherball, if you know, you know, the tetherball game is, it's like a soccer ball on a string or on a rope, and the rope is tied to a pole, and you hit the pole, or you hit the ball, and it swings around the pole, and there are 2 people playing, and you're each trying to get the ball to wrap all the way around the pole. So let's say one person hits it and it spirals around the pole a few times, but they need it to swing 3 or 4 more times for it to be fully wrapped. Well, the other person's going to try to unravel it the opposite way, and then also wrap it in the opposite direction so that they can win the game. That's the point. So it's kind of like volleyball, but on a string, a little bit, and without the net. Instead of a net, there's a pole. And instead of bouncing it back and forth between a net, you're trying to spin it around the pole and spiral it. But if you hit that thing hard enough, it will go flying. And if you're in the way of it, it's a good way to hurt your face. And so that's the kind of energy on the backswing of this karma that I'm picking up for these people. Not only was it already spinning fast, but it's like, if you're on, I'm seeing these people were very immature. I'm getting playground analogies. They're saying that these people were mean, bratty little thieving, but they don't have an excuse. You know, I'm not taking knocks at kids, whether or not that they have lessons to learn or otherwise. Sometimes kids on the playground, especially bullies, will take other kids' toys or lunch money, or like just stereotypically, whatever. But no, that's not what I'm picking up. These people are adults, so-called adults, but they're behaving like children. It's really embarrassing for them. Should be. I would be if I were them. Huh. Pet peeve, I hear. Divine Masculine says it's a pet peeve of his when people take things or bully others, especially about taking things without credit. He doesn't like the plagiarism. Enough said. Yeah, he says it's not fair. You need to have credit where it's due. Yeah. All these people trying to get attention from your work, we're trying to undermine you. Yeah. You had me underrated. Not anymore. The backswing of that karma. Like a merry-go-round. I just got another one too. It's like there's one kid just sitting at the bottom of a slide, and then another one comes down and like boots him right off of it. And then the merry-go-round, it's like it's already spinning fast, but when somebody comes and they give it another couple of fast spins, it's going to send that person flying. If not just from the spins alone, then the centrifugal force and the gravity, the gravitational effect and pull. If you have ever been on a merry-go-round with a couple of friends, you know what I'm talking about. The back spin on this is going to hurt them. It picked up speed. Like a boomerang. Like that kid flinging down the slide and kicking the one that's just sitting there dangling his legs off the end of it way out into the field on the other side of the playground. One's just sitting here at the end and one goes whew, and but he boots him out of the way. It's giving Newton's law. In fact, these karmics did not want to stop. They did not want to change. They did not want to grow. They did not want to learn. They did not want to stop stealing and copying or attacking when they were called out for doing this in the first place. And in other cases, or both, they were given chances and warnings and messages by the divine in life to stop doing this, and they didn't listen, or they thought that they could skate the consequences or the lesson. And that's usually when God puts me in their path, or vice versa, because, well, I'll teach them. Not because I want to, but because they learn the hard way that I will not let them get away with the bullshit that they think that they're going to play. And that's the lesson. They do learn the hard way. By the boundary I set and make them hold. Make them abide by. Divine Masculine says respect. You earn that respect. They're going to put it on your name. I also hear get that dirt off your shoulder. Yep. 130:22. That's hilarious. So He says they can't compete where they don't compare. No. Heavy is the head that carries the crown. He says, but you carry it so gracefully. He says that's why they thought that they could wear it. They look like stumbling, bumbling fools. He says it looks weightless and effortless when you wear it. He says, I know it comes from skill and practice, but they are just looking at the shiny gems inside it. They're just looking at the sparkle. Like, he's saying like Dobby to a sock. Well, that's a comparison. I'm not mad at it. I love Dobby though. He's so cute. Cheers. One of my cats reminds me of Dobby, actually, a lot. So freaking cute. He does this thing. I pet him in this one spot, right between his, right between his ears. Excuse me. Just like this. And he flattens his ears out like that. And when he does that, he looks like his cute little Dobby kitty. He's so cute. His big double paws. He's so fucking cute. Cuteness overload. There's abundance Reiki and protection Reiki coming through as well. Okay, tell me please and thank you about the evil eye. Things that they're sending that they don't really realize that they're sending. Jealousy about money, luxury, luck. They feel like everything's just so lucky for us. It's not. It's about alignment. You see, when you're in alignment, things do run smoother. Things do tend to click into place because it's like you're following a map properly instead of just going willy-nilly blindly, trying to force things that aren't meant to be. Like, here's the analogy for the karmic. I'm getting a vision. Imagine there's a karmic in a car and they're looking at a map, right? A crude map, and they know that they're here and they know they want to be here on the map. Okay? And so they think that they're just going to drive straight to get from point A to point B, but on the map that there are no roads to go straight. Like you either have to go this way or you've got to go up this way, or really, I mean, that's the option. There's no road this way. There are two separate highways that go on either end. Maybe there's a lake over here, so they can't go straight, but they're not looking at that. And so they're trying to force their way to this one point over here because they want so badly to be there, and they're trying to force themselves into a place that they're not supposed to be. Doing things the hard way, going an impossible route. And then they look at the people who are navigating the map correctly on the actual road and saying, it's just so easy for you. No, dude. You're making things harder for yourself. You're trying to go places you're not supposed to go. And even if you were supposed to be there, you took the hard route. You're stubborn, reckless, innocent, so they're jealous of your purity. You know that's what my last name means, right? Lily is not a stage name. Rebirth. They're jealous of your ability to heal and spring forward, spring back to life. I'm coming back to you. Also, possibly of a divine connection. I hear Russ. Wisdom. Jealous of your wisdom. Also, your divine connection in some cases. I have to sneeze. Allergic to your bullshit. Jealous of your strength and resiliency. Your money or your ability to make money. I hear you're so creative. Why couldn't I just take your ideas for myself? No. Faith of your divine connection as well. Okay. So those are things that, whether they know it or not, they're sending. It's black magic, right? They don't like the divine connection, or they're jealous, or why do they get the divine connection, or how are they so connected and tapped in and stuff like that, you know? Everything just works out so easy for them, and just hateful. They're just hateful, and it's also misconception. It's misconstrued. It's hard work. But like I said, they don't see the blood, sweat, and tears and dedication and consistency and resiliency that it took. They don't. They see the blessings on the outside. Hold on. Russ has a song about this. Is it Exposed or Sore Losers? He says something about how they see the ornaments and they want to take yours to hang them on their own Christmas tree. Yeah. Yeah. Because you're nice, or because I'm kind, because he says something about like being kind and open, and they think that he's not they think that they're slick. They think that he won't notice, and that's not true. Or they think he won't do anything about it. No, that's not true. I hear they don't pay me no money, so I don't pay him no mind. Right. Okay. So as far as the actual black magic goes, because I do know that some of them try to dive into some kind of metaphysical table or something. Yeah, they don't like the truth coming out. So they try to block your victory and success with spell work. I hear hindrance spells, blockage spells, roadblocker spells. No. They try to block your healing. Yeah, so you're evil. Excuse me. They didn't want you to make good decisions. They didn't want you to be able to see clearly, and they did not want you to let go or be able to move on. They did not want to let you go. They wanted to keep latching onto you in order to keep stealing from you, even just energetically speaking. What about the black magic? Any kind of spell work that they actually sent cognitively? Psychic protection. Yeah, I'm telling you, it was on purpose, spiritual warfare. Like, for example, I picked it up today too, showing that this weirdo was actually straight up clocking my account. That's why I channeled that in the description. I'll post all of that in the down bar actually, and I've got more about that. But anyway, 139.22, more channels rather. Each time that I notice one of these karmics being karmic and it gets to a point where I have to call them out, they've been trying to send some kind of spiritual warfare as a result. If not directly, like coming on and harassing. But it's because they don't have divine protection or any kind of shielding, proper strength, resiliency. They don't have it. Energy. Yeah, that's why they were trying to harvest from other people. Also, they didn't want others to have the energy to be motivated to live their lives, to build, to heal, even just to invest in themselves joy, to be happy, to live their life, to move into these new beginnings. They didn't want you to finish closing out cycles. They didn't want you to, you're trying to block, I told you about that too earlier, didn't I? Crown chakra attacks and third eye attacks. Yeah, courage. They wanted people to submit or be afraid of them or to stand up against them. Anything else? They didn't want you to be able to see or know clearly. Imagination. They didn't want you to stop allowing them to take creative ideas from you either, in some cases. It could be an ex-friend, either somebody who wanted to worm their way back in or somebody who wanted to target you because they were mad that you cut them off. Yeah, too bad. No, they were trying to penetrate your, whoa, barrier, strength, resiliency, throw you off balance. Did you see that? You know. Let's do one more. Strength. I just split the deck and strength came out again. We're done with that. Other than this in reverse, knowing that you can't trust those people. Not everybody's like that, right? Safe travels in reverse, but they're not healthy or safe. No, these are people who were gunning for you and or your money, or gunning for you because they were jealous of what they thought you had. Yeah, didn't want you to learn, didn't want you to grow, didn't want you to figure out what was going on. Wanted to just keep taking from you and keeping you in the shadows. Didn't want you to have a healthy, stable, safe environment, or wanted to help people destabilize you or to do so themselves. Jealous of your beauty, trying to throw beauty spells and magic. No, dude, no. Peace. What did I say about Isis earlier too? Magical powers. So they wanted to disturb your peace. They didn't want you to tap into your spiritual gifts. They didn't want people to see your authenticity because they were trying to copy you. Hear me. Yeah, it's destiny. They tried to destiny swap. Or harvest. No. There's exposure Reiki coming through. And balance and sovereignty Reiki as well. And I'm picking that up big time in the throat chakra. Yeah, but you're going to be able to move on from this. And frankly, so am I. Safe travel. 144.22. I heard bon voyage. Okay. Let's see, shall we? I think I need the light. What's your eyes? The burned bridge. Yep, so there's no going back in this situation. These people are toxic and we don't want to deal with them. Two of these nuts. You can suck on two of these nuts. Karmics. Not coming back and can't come with me. These nuts. Oh, it's funny. This is my last hurrah. It's the final cycle closing out. Tower. Also, some of these people thought that since it was the cycle was closing or they were about to be exposed, they'd give it one more shot. They'd give it one last final rush. They were being exposed for whatever they did, so they would try to double down and cover it up or combat us instead of just taking accountability for what we can prove that they did. Yeah, but they came after people who are resilient, who know who they are. Perseverance. She's not afraid. She's got her hands in the mouth of a lion there. Come on. Naked. Willing to stand in the truth. No matter how the snake is trying to coil up her to what? Suffocate her, restrict her, keep her from speaking. It's giving throat chakra. No. The Empress. Wanting to silence the Empress? No. Look at her with her little baby. And a crow. With a throne full of amethyst. I can relate to that. I only want to wear crown and crystals all day. The mother. Yeah. I hear don't fuck with mama. The life of the party. That's what they're jealous of. That's why they wanted to try to copy. To give zero fucks, exactly. And we don't. People who would rather spend time in their own company than in the company of the wrong people. I also have a house rule. If I wouldn't let you around my child, you don't need to be around me either. See? They're mad because Divine Feminine has cut them off. Taco in the cold shoulder. I heard that. Where did you get the Divine Feminine out of that? The taco. It's just mad. The cold shoulder because she cut him off. The cheese fries. You know what this reminds me of? This is actually I think a French or French Canadian thing. It's the poutine. Interesting. You know what? Oh, let me tell you this, because he's been coming through. So I was doing that reading, or the breakdown about the Sagittarius energy earlier in this channel previously, and there was a reference on that destiny path about the crystal connection being charoite. I didn't tell you this, but this guy, alright, he was one of my best friends. He was also my business partner, one of them. And one time I was looking for that particular stone, and he didn't have it at the crystal shop, but he was going to a gem show. So he did end up finding me a piece and picking it up there. But before we met back up again, when he got back to town, he had it for a couple of days on him, and he ended up taking a nap, and he happened to just have it next to him while he was napping, and he had this whole dream. He had this whole very vivid, distinctive dream, and this was not a very common thing for him. He was a Leo. He had very dominant lower chakra energies, just as a fire sign, but he had this whole dream. I won't get into what it was about right now. However, when he was alive, often the hermit came out very, very content in my happy space, and he'd say, "Come on, come hang out with me, out of the house tonight." I'm really comfortable here, I'm good here. And he'd say, "Come on, I need my wing woman." And I'd say, "Well," he's like, "Well, come on, we can get fries at last call." And I'd say, "All right. Do you need me to beauty?" Usually was the case. It wasn't that far. Often we would just walk anyway, but very funny. So all of that being said, all of that came up earlier. I didn't say most of that, but it kept coming up, thinking about it. But I couldn't ignore that last one. The hermit just came out again. Exactly. With a child. Yep. 0 fucks given. Exactly. We don't care what anybody else thinks. The slice, the pizza, pizza and fries. Yeah. It's reminding me of like home slice. What's up, home slice? Home skillet biscuit. My oh my, I've got a good friend. My oh my, I've got my own disciples here. Got my whole family. The audacity. Yeah, and I'm turning the light on. That's what these karmics had. The audacity. The audacity to do what they did and then play the victim. At all, let alone when they got called out for it. Sad. Is there anything else? I feel like not with this deck. Hold on. Let's see. Yep, let's do this one. I saw this one earlier too. I think I'm going to cap it after that though, because this is quite a long reading. Which is fine. Just holding space and clearing the energy nonetheless. I'm ready to do other things. And ready to be done with this silly karmic energy. What's their karma? That your light is going to continue to, turning the light on, speaking of, irritate their shadows. That they will have losses of opportunity, especially if they were trying to trash talk people. They're going to be catching karma quickly. That's part of their karma. So it will continue to come. They won't be able to focus. A lack of mental focus, control, inability to focus. And remember that they were trying to send crown chakra attacks, third eye attacks at people. Black cloud, repetitive bad luck and misfortune. Directing subliminal posts. So people maybe won't want to talk to them, but will definitely have things to say about them. you see that's what they tried to do about others. That people will protect themselves from these karmics and will be protected from them. That multiple people or groups of people won't like them, but you see they tried to get groups of people to gang up against light workers. That they feel like they'll need protection, but they don't have it. Also, that their partners, like I picked this up again recently, some of these karmics caused problems, and now their partners don't want to deal with them or are looking at them funny because they see them for the mean people they are, or the thieves and fakes and frauds and plagiaristic phonies that they are, or maybe because of the trouble that they're in for stealing and targeting people, they've taken financial hits and now their partner doesn't want to take care of them or something. I've been picking that up too. It's like, let's say there's a karmic female and she's been doing social media work for her whole career thing, and she has a partner who has a regular job, but it's like maybe she gets in trouble by doing something she shouldn't, targeting somebody, stealing from somebody, and messes up her reputation, and so she's not getting job opportunities and stuff the way that she wanted to or that she thought she would, or whatever the case may be. And so now, who do the bills and the responsibilities financially fall on? But the partner with the 9 to 5, right? Who was trying to support his girlfriend in her, what is it, like, I hear influencer dreams or something, but he says not realistic. Like, she just ruined that for herself, and he's the only one who's had a steady job, or who has a steady job. Yeah. This is why the boyfriend of this karmic female's not having it with her. He's not, he doesn't seem to like her right now very much, because he sees that she's just unhappy with her life, so that's why she's fixated on someone else's, yours, mine. Yeah, he says it's not cute. I'm seeing them argue because he sees she's trying to play the victim. They act friendly to your face and then go talk behind your back, and they see that. People see that these people are very fake. Like, everything I said here, I said to the face of the people who caused problems. Either spoke it publicly right here, and or sent them direct messages, or both. But it's not like it's hidden. I don't have anything to hide. But they did. They were fake. And that's why they're catching karma repeatedly, over and over again, every day. Seems like they just have bad luck, but it's not. It's the fact that they're nasty people and it comes back. Now, to be very clear, because I'm picking up that there are some light workers that consistently they've been targeted, and that's not always karma. Like, sometimes your karma is, how are you letting people mistreat you? It's not a punishment. Some people think that karma is what you did to somebody in this life or another life, and it's coming back to you, and that absolutely can be the case, but it's not always the case. Sometimes karmic people will follow people through the lives and chase them through the lives and bully them again because they haven't lost, their spirit hasn't lost the fixation for that person. And in that case, that karmic is being tested and given the chance to do better, to not treat that person like garbage, or if nothing else, to treat them less like garbage than the last life. But often they don't. They are familiar. It feels familiar to be bullies, so they often dive into that just as much on a whatever modern day scale this is, or worse in some cases, unfortunately, making their karma worse. They don't clear their karma. They don't clear generational curses. They create them or make them worse for themselves. And in that case, we don't victim blame those light workers. Okay? If the light worker has any lesson to learn, in those cases, it's often not, well, what did you do to that person or another person in another life? it's often in those cases that that same karmic is just doing the same toxic thing. They didn't learn their lesson. The lesson for the light worker is, do you have enough love and self-respect for yourself now and or in this life to say no to that person, to say F you to that person and stick to your guns and mean it? Do you have enough self-respect and love for yourself to recognize that so you don't get yourself in that pickle in the first place? And even if you did, to get yourself out. Also, having enough love and self-respect not to beat yourself up for being in a situation, but instead focusing on being proud of yourself for getting yourself out of it, even if you needed some help to do it. And please remember, the people are supposed to be able to have help getting out of abuse. It's why isolation is another favorite form of domestic abuse. Humans are inherently social creatures. We're mammals. And so it's not normal for humans to be isolated, especially intentionally. And it is a red flag when you know that there are domestic abusers or people trying to isolate others. That is a control tactic, and it is for abusive purposes. It's abuse within its own right. Affecting your relationships and close connections. Little to no motivation towards things they were very close, very ambitious and dedicated about. Someone connected to an ex, so seems like they're leaving a trail. They're praying for your misfortune to bring about their own personal gain. So this is what people are doing to them or will be, because this is what they tried to do to others. This may be their own partners and their exes who have an issue with them now. Not to say that light workers haven't been targeted that way as well on some level in some cases. However, this is different. Because if some of these karmics didn't do these things to light workers, they tried to bully or target or make fun of light workers, who were going through them. Meaning they were misjudging people, and now they're being, seems like, sent through situations that are going to give them a first-hand reality at just exactly what they are misjudging. Trying to make themselves feel superior to people because they were misjudging them. Wearing fake smiles to keep you blinded to who they really are, so they're not going to be able to recognize who's around them. And those people are going to be trying to block their blessings the way they tried to block ours, or what they perceive as blessings, what they're reaching for. Yeah. They're going to have to deal with possible disloyalty in their connection, or at least insecurity issues. And coworkers or business rivals. Yeah, it's because they were trying to target people. They were trying to steal from people. I hear get an edge on the competition. Yeah, and then copy the life, the business, I hear etiquette, persona, personality of whoever it was that they were obsessed with. Hating on your come-ups. So that's what they're doing now. Holding an old grudge. Yeah, well, that's their issue. Anything else? Someone connected to an ex-partner or a significant other. In some cases, like I said, it's just nasty, negative energy. It's not like they're all sending spell work or always. Yeah, but they are trying to mess with your family relationships or friend and romantic connections. Yeah, and it's very fake. They either are fake and they do this to other people. They act friendly to your face and go behind your back to get people on their side, or they try to do this to you. Like, they're nasty to you because they want to be able to get in with you, to get close enough to hurt you, Or they pretend that they're nice to other people so that they can get those people to believe that they would never gang up on you. Or that you would never gang up on them, rather. No, that was right. Right? They pretend like I'm ready for bed. They pretend like they, it's been, goodness, a couple hours I've been here. It's 10:10 on the clock on the East Coast. They pretend like they're good people to convince others around them that those people around them, those others around them, should believe what they're saying and tolerate whatever attacks or slander towards the light worker. It's all a facade. It's just for reputation and show. But nonetheless, I do have some more stuff, messages, but in the meantime, I am going to cap that for now and drop the mic. Please remember to pray, do no harm, take no crap, and I will catch you on the next one. Blessings and namaste.